Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Almost an hour, a little over an hour now, and we got a couple more subjects to go. So we good with the Bucks? We'll have another special clip where we'll get more in depth into their off season and what we think they'll do. But any more on the Bucks?
That is it for now.
Okay, that is it for now. Okay.
Go enjoy the sunshine. It's sunny here. Go enjoy the sunshine.
There you go. In Wisconsin, it is sunny. Okay, let's plow through these next two because they're both sweeps. So we're just catching up on some other series. Thunder sweep the Memphis Grizzlies. I guess big takeaways for me, Ja's injury, kind of like it's interesting because it almost was like Memphis figured something out, right? And then they were up by like 29 points against, and then Dort undercut Ja. I know it was an accident. He slipped, but I mean, people get hit in the head on accident and they call flagrant fouls. I don't know how you just don't give that a flagrant one. I get he slipped, but probably should have been a flagrant one. Regardless, they come back, they win, and then the Thunder fans are touting this like greatest comeback ever in playoff history. It's like, dude, come on. You knew once Ja got injured, the atmosphere just killed out of that room. So that was one takeaway, and then they almost they were so competitive though they almost beat them this last game. So I just wondered if they almost figured something out, and if Ja was healthy, if this series would still be going.
Yeah, again, the Thunder had stretches like the ends of some of these games where you're like, holy cow, this team is incredible. But as you said, two of these games are like, something is missing here. It keeps nagging at me. And maybe it will all the way till they win the title. But there's just something about the Thunder that in sections of these games where you're like, I don't know, like there seems to be a flaw on offense mainly. And it does sound like sour grapes, like for Ja Morant, like we had him figured out, and you're like, yeah, I mean, it's easy to say when you're not playing, but I don't disagree. It's just one of those where you're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't say anything when you rarely play anyhow. But there's still something nagging me about the Thunder. But now they have at least 8 days off before they play again. So.
Right. The only reason why I even remotely could be like, okay, maybe he was just being honest, or like at least he thought they did, is just because of the 29-point lead. And then the next game without Ja, they only lost by 3. So it wasn't and here's, and you might be like, well, what's missing? I think I figured out the whistle is missing. Okay. SGA, his numbers for the series, he averaged 28 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. That's great. His shooting percentage though is 40.2%, 25% from 3. It's not efficient shooting. So, we knew this about Harden. I'm not saying Shea's Harden. I'm not saying that. But we knew this about Harden and Trae Young and even Brunson to a certain extent. When you get to the playoffs, you don't get the whistle as much. How are you going to handle that? And Shea, well, at least for the Thunder, they handled it fine, right? They swept the series, which shows how good this team is. But I'm wondering how Shea will adapt as the rounds get more competitive. Will he become more efficient and not worry about foul baiting? I'm not saying that's what he was doing, but like if you're not getting calls, you get frustrated, and then you let that frustration leak into your game. So I wonder if that's sort of something that he'll just have to figure out in the next couple of days before they play the Clippers or the Nuggets.
Yeah, and they haven't figured out their too big lineup because they had to pull Hartenstein at times, and that was a slight worry of mine because they don't have a ton of shooters or trustworthy shooters. And it kind of, they pulled him for stretches of this game to get some spacing out there. So we'll see as they face, potentially harder competition that's going to be a little more prepared to see if that is actually a big problem.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, Cavs, thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.